Select Board on May 23rd, 2023. It's 6:01 p.m. is called to order. This meeting is being held in person and/or remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and all other applicable laws temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the Town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. Is anyone else recording the meeting? Okay, seeing none. I will just note for the record, participating this evening, myself, Liz Klein, Chair, Joseph Fisher, and Bill Ramsey, remote. So we are officially a hybrid meeting today. Also today is Maddie's Promise Day in Hingham, so just wanted to acknowledge that. Now, if you're willing and able, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, next on the agenda is approval of minutes.
I'm prepared to
You
proceed.
ready? Bill, you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Okay. I'm ready to take a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes dated May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously.
And I make a motion to approve the minutes dated May 18th, 2023.
Second.
All those in favor? Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. It passes unanimously. Okay, next on the agenda is the Pride Month Proclamation. It's somewhere in this packet. Yes. Do you want to start by reading it, or do you want to discuss it
Sure.
first? Or?
No, I can start and
Okay.
we can break it up.
Yes, I'll go next, and then Bill, you can do the last part, if that's okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So this is for the Town of Hingham, lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, or questioning plus, LGBTQ plus, Pride Month Proclamation. Whereas Hingham is a community that values diversity and inclusion and is committed to equal rights and opportunities for all its residents. And whereas Hingham recognizes the important contributions of its LGBTQ plus residents to the town's history, culture, economy, and civic life. And whereas June 28th, 2023 marks the 54th anniversary of the Stonewall Riots, an event that gave rise to the beginning of the gay rights movement in the United States. And
Whereas June is now recognized across the country and in the Commonwealth as Pride Month. And whereas we celebrate the accomplishments of the LGBTQ plus community towards securing important rights and freedoms, often through struggle and adversity. And whereas we remain vigilant against continued oppression and discrimination against the LGBTQ plus community and against any new political efforts to overturn these accomplishments. And whereas we affirm our support for our LGBTQ plus residents, including our students and our employees, vendors and visitors, and stand with them to protect their civil rights and ability to live openly without fear.
And whereas we congratulate the members of the Hingham Pride Project for their efforts to increase LGBTQ plus visibility and to support LGBTQ plus citizens, particularly our LGBTQ plus youth, through the distribution of over 4,000 pride flags to individuals, families, and organizations throughout Hingham. And whereas we acknowledge the important efforts of the Hingham School Committee, the school department leadership, teachers and staff to support our LGBTQ plus students and to help all students meet core educational competencies that prioritize social and emotional learning, health and safety, and respect for others. Now, therefore, we, Elizabeth F. Klein, Joseph M. Fisher, and William C. Ramsey, Select Board of Hingham, do hereby proclaim June 2023 to be LGBT 2023, Elizabeth F. Klein, Chair, Joseph F. Fischer, and William C. Ramsey.
So with that, I'd make a motion to proclaim June 2023 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month in the town of Hingham.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is to consider approval of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to South Shore Conservatory for South Shore Conservatory's year-end celebration to be held on Friday, June 2nd, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Do we have Eileen?
Yes.
Sorry, I can't see you. Oh, hi, Eileen.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Can you just tell us a little bit about the event?
Sure, so it is open to SSC faculty, staff, trustees, and their families. Just an end of the school year celebration to say thank you for everything that they've done. We're having Montilios cater with pizzas, we'll have platters, desserts, plenty of water, juice, etc. And looking for a one-day wine and beer.
Excellent. And the event will be held outside, is that right?
Yes, it'll be either on the lawn of our amphitheater or on the amphitheater stage
Okay,
at Conservatory.
excellent. And it looks like the estimated attendance is 50 people, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. And I see that Chief Jones has signed off on it. Joe, do you have any questions?
Just briefly, how is parking handled?
So we have 2 lots on the Hingham campus, and Friday's actually our quietest teaching day,
Okay.
so we'll have plenty of parking
Great.
available on campus.
No other questions. Thank you.
Bill, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions, just Eileen, thanks for doing this. I know it's a big event every year, and appreciate your efforts to make that. No questions.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, seeing none, I'm ready to take a motion.
Just with a special one-day wine and malt beverages license, the South Shore Conservatory, the South Shore Conservatory's year-end celebration to be held on Friday, June 2nd, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Eileen. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Right, next on the agenda is to consider approval of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Recreational Equipment Incorporated for Boston Pedals Together Film Festival to be held at the REI store, second floor, 98 Derby Street, on Sunday, June 4th, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Do we have Lindsay Nelson and Timothy Kendrick with us? I really can't see with this.
Yes, Timothy Kendrick here.
Lindsay's here.
Oh, excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the event?
Sure, I'd be happy to. We were presented from our experienced team to host a bicycle film festival that will show 3 short films regarding the bicycling community. This event will actually take place inside of REI. We were notified that the projection will not be able to be seen outside because it would still be too light.
Yes.
Um,
I can barely see you right now.
Right.
It's very bright still. Go ahead.
So we moved it inside. We have opened it to the public. There's a registration link on rei.com for people to sign up for it. At this event, we're gonna have non-alcoholic drinks and some snacks, and are partnering with Untold to serve just cans of beer, a limit of 2 per person. They'll check IDs. We will man the store because technically it's after hours, but we will have staff there to support. And yeah, to accomplish this on June 4th at 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay, excellent. So you'll have people RSVP, but the admission is free, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, but are you limiting it to 35 people? Or how many people?
Yes, I think they upped it on our website, but that's easily changed. we thought we were having it outside.
Okay. I don't know how many people they can have inside. Do we know?
Yeah, I could talk to Ryan, did you have a chance to confirm the occupancy for the in the inside space?
No, that number doesn't seem too large, so.
Yeah, 35.
Maybe check on that.
Okay.
Right.
All right, great. Joe, do you have any
Yeah, my
questions?
understanding it should be around 200, but, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's their commercial space upstairs where
Yep.
people
Yes.
would normally be shopping.
Okay.
You'd have way more than 35 up
Right.
there on a
Yep.
busy day anyway.
Okay.
Yep. No, I mean, this seems like a good event. I've got no questions.
And Joe will probably be there because he's a biker.
Yes.
That's right.
Excellent.
Joe, sorry, Bill, do you have any questions or comments?
I have no questions if the police department's comfortable with permitting this and so on.
Okay. All right, excellent. Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, ready to take a motion.
I move to approve the issuance of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Recreational Equipment, Inc. for Boston Pedals Together Film Festival to be held at the REI store, second floor, at the Derby Street Shops on Sunday, June 4th, 2023, from 6 to 8 p.m.
Second.
Roll call vote, Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Best of luck with the event.
Thank you all for
Thank
your
you very
time.
much.
Okay, next on the agenda is to consider approval of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Barrel House Z for Weir River Farms Pride Family Picnic to be held on Sunday, June 4th, 2023. Oh, boy. We okay with the audio?
Yeah, we are now.
Go ahead.
Okay. With a rain date of,
We're not okay
we're
with
not
the-
okay.
No, no.
Is that the owl or?
It's, I think it's when Stephanie
There's like
unmuted.
an echo with the audio.
When Stephanie unmuted is when we got it. Try it now.
Okay. This is to consider approval of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Barrel House E for Weir River Farms Pride Family Picnic to be held on Sunday, June 4th, 2023, with a rain date of Sunday, June 11th, 2023, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And do we have Stephanie Aquino?
Hi, guys.
Hi, welcome. There's nothing worse than hearing your voice come back at you.
I'll talk quick.
Yeah, you try to talk. Maybe it'll sound better.
I'll read for anything, I'm sorry.
Go ahead and tell us about the event.
The Pride picnic, that one's gonna be, similar to the sunset picnics up on the farm. They're estimating about 150 to 200 for that one. So it's a little smaller, it's just a 2-hour event. Excuse me. That'll be, in a partnership with Hingham Pride. So we're expecting that to be very family friendly. You know, we're gonna sell drinks there, but I don't expect it to be a whole lot.
Okay. Have you done this event before?
Say that again.
Have you done this event before?
We have not done the Pride event, but we've done the sunset picnics in the same spot.
Okay, excellent. Yes.
It's her system.
Oh, okay.
I know.
What you might
No,
want to
no
think about doing is ask her to mute and ask.
Okay.
Ask,
Stephanie, could you try muting and see if that helps?
maybe Ann could take over
Okay.
from here.
Okay, I mean, I am familiar with the format, and I know, Ann, you've had many successful events in this way, so I don't have any, and I know Chief Jones signed off on it, so I don't have any questions or concerns. Joe, do you?
That was my only question, if the police had reviewed and signed off, and it sounds like they have?
They have.
Okay, then I've got no other questions.
Bill, do you have any questions or concerns?
Yeah, and did Stephanie say it's the first year this is being done?
This is the first one first Pride picnic we've led, so we're really excited.
I think it's great. Thrilled. Thanks for doing this and, yeah, enthusiastic support. This is great.
Great, thank you.
Excellent. Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, I'm ready to take a motion.
I make the motion to approve the issuance of a special one-day wine and malt beverage license to Barrel House Z for Ware River Farms Pride Family Picnic, be held on Sunday, June 4th, 2023, with a rain date of Sunday, June 11th, 2023, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m.
Second.
Roll call vote, Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. It passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you both for doing this event. Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda is to consider approval of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Barrel House Z for the summer solstice at World's End to be held on Saturday, June 24th, 2023, with a rain date of Sunday, June 25th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Ann, do you want to explain this one for us?
We've been doing this party for, I don't know, 15 years at least. Aldous Collins Band is performing.
Great.
This is, we have a couple of food trucks and a couple of beer trucks, and it's just a wonderful public event at the top of World's End. So are there any specific questions?
I do not have any specific questions. I'm very familiar with this event. It really kicks off summer in Hingham, and we certainly look forward to it. I think these are the same typical hours that we've had in the past. I see that Chief Jones has also signed off on it. I know parking has been sorted out. It certainly draws a big crowd, but I know it's been managed very well in the past, so I don't have any questions. Joe, do you?
I just want to follow up on the crowd. So the estimated attendance is 1,000. So could you tell us just a little bit about how that number will be managed?
Sure. So this is it's considered one of our Tier 1 programs at
Yep.
World's End. We've been running with this same amount of people for as long as I've been in my position. We sell tickets by vehicle. So we sell 350 vehicle tickets. And people bring, sometimes it's like a circus clown car where there'll be 15 people in a tiny little car, and sometimes it'll just be 1 or 2 people.
Yep.
So the police are there frequent. Usually we have a couple of police on bicycles who are circulating through. I work on that with Officer Walden and Officer Kilroy. And it's just, I'm amazed every year. There's no trash at the end of the night. Everybody is respectful. It's just a great family event.
Because I know the neighbors around there are concerned about parking and making sure that the no parking signs are respected. So I just want to make sure that.
That's right.
So there's adequate parking within World's End, within the facility, so they don't have to go onto the street and be on people's lawns or things like that.
No, that's right. The parking for this event is on one of our fields.
Right.
Actually, so we're,
Right.
at 2 of our fields actually, so it's field parking. And we do not sell tickets at the event, so it's all pre-sold, and we don't allow anybody, the police will park their cruiser at the entrance, so nobody will be parking there along the seat wall. And there shouldn't be any backup. We've done this event a couple times already, my team, and it's very smooth.
And if we need backup, I see the Harbormaster's here. Maybe we can enlist his boat to patrol around there as well. But no other questions. Thank you.
All right.
Bill, any questions?
Yeah, sorry, I missed it. And what's the anticipated attendance number?
It's 350 vehicle tickets, so usually that's somewhere between 600 and 1,000 people.
600,000. Okay, all right, thank you. That's what you normally, right?
I'm sorry?
That's the normal size of the crowd.
That's the normal size. I think it's smaller than it has been in the past, in previous years. But, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, I'm ready to take a motion.
I move to approve the issuance of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Barrel House Z for the summer solstice at World's End to be held on Saturday, June 24th, 2023, with a rain date of Sunday, June 25th, 2023, from 5 to 9 p.m.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. It passes unanimously. Thank you. Best of luck. Believe it'll be a
Thank you,
sunny
everybody.
day. Okay. Next on the agenda is to consider approval of the request of LSF Hingham LLC doing business as Legal C Bar, 96 Derby Street, Unit 325 for a change of manager. Do we have, I see Donna Cruz? And we also have Dorothy McCoy. Excellent. Hi, good evening, welcome. Do you want to can you just explain to us kind of what's happening in terms of the change of manager?
Yeah, so, again, my name is Donna Cruz, and I'm a paralegal with the licensee, and we are applying to change our manager at our, legal C bar in Hingham. And I have Dorothy McCoy, the manager here also.
Excellent.
Hi, good evening, thank you.
Good evening, welcome. So you'll be new to the Hingham restaurant?
Yes, I will be.
Excellent. Where are you coming from?
Currently I'm working out of the Braintree Legal Seafood, right in Braintree,
Okay.
so not too far.
Not too far, yes, excellent, excellent. Well, the application looks complete. I know Sharon didn't have any concerns, right? Okay. Joe, do you have any questions?
My only question is, the food will continue to be as excellent as it has been?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. No, and all the documents seem in order. I have no questions. Thank you.
Bill, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions or concerns, thank you.
Okay. Anyone from the public have questions or concerns? Okay, seeing none, I'm ready to take a motion.
So I make a motion to approve the request of LSF Hingham LLC doing business as Legal C Bar, 96 Derby Street, Unit 325, Hingham, Mass, for change of manager from Mark Hayward to Dorothy M. McCoy, in accordance with the application for change of manager filed with the town of Hingham on May 1st, 2023, subject to the approval of the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously. Excellent. Well, welcome, Dorothy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Okay. Next item on the agenda is to consider approval of the amendment to agreement with Shrewsbury Landscapes Incorporated for athletic field turf maintenance. We have Kathy Riley and Mark Thurell. Welcome.
Thank you. This is an amendment. We did a contract 2 years ago we got quotes from the state landscaping contract. This vendor specializes in infield and field turf maintenance. And they've been doing a great job. And we have one more extension left. We have a maximum of 3 years that we can do a contract, so this is the last year.
Okay. Okay. And this is obviously part of the work that's outlined in the field maintenance plan.
Yes, exactly. Shrewsbury Landscapes does the lion's share of work, from field applications to aeration, infield openings. So yeah, they do the lion's share of work within the turf maintenance program.
Okay.
And we've been extremely pleased with the quality of their work, their responsiveness. So couldn't be happier working with them.
Excellent, excellent. And the budget amount, can you just explain kind of where that's coming from?
Sure. So kind of just based off of the budget that were provided within the town, and the number of infields that we have, the number of acreage, kind of plays into the overall amount that Shrewsbury required for upkeep on it. So it's really kind of a factor of number of infields and the acreage the town has with athletic fields.
Okay. But is this amount part of, it looks like it spans FY '23 and FY '24? So is this amount in the FY '24 budget?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so they're working continuously now, and it will go through May 2024?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Joe, do you have any questions?
What are your plans for when this extension expires?
We'll rebid it.
Rebid it?
Mm-hmm.
And how far in advance do you rebid?
I'd probably do it, if it ends next May, I'd probably do it in January or February, just to make sure
Yep.
that everything was set for the spring.
I mean, the reviews I've heard are, people really are
Good.
highly appreciative and commend the work that you've done. I just hope that there will not be a gap between when this expires and when.
No. With our new software, we'll be reminded of when
Yes.
things need to be,
Yes.
to be
Yep.
renewed well in advance of when they need to be rebid.
And I see that the prices are, the cost is consistent with the cost in the original contract. Yep, great.
Yes.
Which is great. No questions. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Bill, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I have a couple comments, and I just wanted to say to Mark and everybody involved with this program that this has been tremendously successful. And I cannot tell you, Mark, I know sometimes I forward you comments or emails I get, but I constantly get emails from people involved with our youth athletic program, just commending the work done and the improvement done on the fields. In fact, I just got one like 2 days ago. This has been a tremendously successful program. The fact that we have green diamonds in July and August, months when Kirsty and Haley and these fields are turning into basically these dust bowls, is wonderful. And I know you've done a lot of effort into this thing, and I'm just thrilled with the results here. It's been a great program, and happy to see us continue it going. So keep doing what you're doing, Mark. It's been great. Really well done.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes, excellent work, Mark. I think one of my favorite quotes from your nomination for that award was, "This is actually a plan being executed successfully, not sitting on a shelf somewhere," and that's due to your leadership, Mark, so thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, ready to take a motion.
I move to authorize the town administrator to sign the amendment to the agreement with Shrewsbury Landscape Inc. for athletic field turf maintenance in an amount not to exceed $201,313 for a term ending May 25th, 2024.
Second.
Roll call vote, Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well, passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is appointment of Assistant Harbormaster. Harbormaster Ken Corson with us.
Good evening.
Good evening, thank you for coming back. I know last week you explained the process and the position. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about this candidate?
Yes, this is Meara Conley. She is still in high school, but she aspires to go to the United States Coast Guard Academy. She's a very good student. She's also a sailing instructor at the Hingham Maritime Center. And she wasn't able to make the appointment last time because she was busy studying for AP exams, so some of the boxes that needed to get checked off were delayed a little bit, but she's met all the requirements, and I recommend her for appointment as an assistant harbor master to the position of harbor attendant.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So is she a senior at the high school?
I believe she's a junior going into her senior year.
Okay, got it.
But she has extensive boating experience, and she's well qualified for this entry-level position.
Okay, excellent. And what kind of boating licenses are required?
So really all she needs for this position is a boating safety certificate.
Okay,
Again, it's an entry-level position. She'll be doing activities such as pump out boat operations, mooring rentals, and other harbor activities around the harbor that I assign her to do.
okay, excellent, excellent. Well, I'm excited to see the young people applying for these jobs and being potentially appointed. There's a nice synergy of the sailing team, sailing instructors at the Maritime Center, the yacht club, so it's nice to see. Certainly, these are kids that grew up on these waters, I'm assuming. So it's really nice. Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
Just one question. If you can confirm that this appointment will have no impact on the budget that we have allocated for this.
That's correct. It will not have a negative impact on the
Right.
budget.
Yep. No other questions?
Bill, do you have any questions or concerns?
No questions or comments?
Okay. Anyone from the public, member of the public, questions or comments? Okay, ready to take a motion.
I make a motion to appoint Meara Conley as a part-time assistant Harbormaster for the town of Hingham for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Roll call vote, Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously. Excellent.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is update on Mental Health Awareness Month from Susan Sarney. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
So I'm just gonna go over what we've done so far.
excellent.
The Mental Health Coalition began in November. It consists of leaders from veterans, elders, Hingham Public Schools, Hingham Police Department, and the Health Department. We began posting wellness flyers on the town website and social media the first Wednesday of the month. We had our first suicide awareness discussion November 16th with Aspire in Riverside at the Senior Center. We created a flyer of mental health resources and support groups for residents of our community, and that's also available on our social worker website. In March, we had a Town of Hingham employee QPR training, and that's question, persuade, refer for suicide prevention. In April, we had our first speaker series, Suicide Postvention from Riverside Community Care, and HCAM is going to be televising that presentation
Great.
As it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Excellent.
We hired a contract social worker available nights and weekends, and every Tuesday night at the Hingham Public Library from 5:30 to 8:30, also available by cell phone. We're using a regional social worker with a grant I have from DPH for any additional needs at this time with Cohasset and Situate. We created business cards with emails and phone numbers for the Mental Health Coalition. And on the opposite side, it has 988, 911. These are going to be available at the Houses of Worship, Veterans Office, Police Station, Elder Services, Health Department, Food Pantry, Hingham Public Library, and Hingham Public Schools.
Excellent.
We'll be doing a bigger distribution when school resumes in September. Going forward, Tuesday, June 6th at 6:30 p.m. at the Hingham Public Library Witten Room, we're going to be offering all residents QPR training from Plymouth County Suicide Prevention Coalition. We're working on our second speaker series, July 19th, on opiate awareness here at the Town Hall. We're currently working on a job description for the full-time opiate outreach coordinator with the settlement funds combined with the part-time social worker in the Health Department.
Great.
And this mental health coalition that's been doing all this work will make recommendations to the town administrator regarding the opiate settlement funds. And this summer, we're gonna have a group meeting with all the committees and stakeholders to introduce the settlement funds and the program and how we're gonna be working with our residents to offer them support. And then we'll continue working with the regional towns on any other outstanding work.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank
First,
you.
I just want to commend you on what you've been able to do since last fall, just identifying a need in the community. This really wasn't something we had planned on. The series of very unfortunate, tragic events was your call to action, and you've done an amazing job leading this effort, and that we really appreciate it. The town is better off because of it, so thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a question about Justin, the social worker. Are people visiting him at the library? Are people using that service?
They are. It's a little different than what we normally do, so it's worth a try doing nights and weekends and cell phone.
Yeah.
But they are reaching out to them for services.
Great.
Problems don't arise 9 to 5, so it's good to have that resource when something comes up.
Yes, excellent, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
Well, I just want to reiterate a thank you, because this is really an important addition to the town. And Liz is right, we weren't anticipating this. This was not on our top 10 list of projects to address. And the fact that you stepped up so quickly to address it is commendable. You mentioned that the contract social worker. When did that start, and how long does that contract go for?
I believe it started we got Justin, let's say February or March. He's under the social worker, because right now I have an open position. So until we hire that merged opioid person and the social worker, he'll be with us.
Okay. Is he eligible to apply for that position, or is he with another company, or?
He's with another company, but he can
Okay.
apply.
Okay.
We'll be posting that hopefully soon.
And can you just talk a little bit, if you know, the extent to which there's coordination between this position and the social worker that's embedded with the police?
So part of the Mental Health Coalition, we have Aileen, and I've been working with Aileen a lot. Justin's only nights and weekends, so he's not here during the day, so Aileen and I have been working and going over the opiate settlement funds, any issue that she might have at the police department. We all overlap, and that's what's great about this. It could be a veteran, it could be an elder, so it's all, could be somebody in the public schools that need the service. So we all communicate frequently throughout the week, even day.
Great.
And what sort of review or communication, like, there's an event, there's a situation that's handled, does someone know to get feedback to you to say, oh, this was great, or it wasn't handled right? How is that communication, so that to the extent issues are out there, it's brought to your attention and then you can address it?
It matters, if it was with a veteran, if it was an elder,
Yeah.
we go over what's happened and recommendation. If it's something with the police, I suggest that she talks to Chief Jones or Ryan about it and try to work through the issues. Like you guys said, this is new.
Yeah.
We don't have, there's not model ways to do
There's
anything.
not a lot of protocols out there now.
We're really lucky in Hingham, we all work together. Like, we've already have this group established with hoarding and other social work issues, so the transition to mental health isn't that much different.
Yeah.
So we're lucky that we all can just communicate freely and discuss issues and learn how to go about issues. We're doing a good job in Hingham, I feel.
And it sounds like you have an outreach to the interfaith group of ministers and
Yeah.
rabbi, whatever, so that,
Yeah.
because I know they've got their own outreach, and to the extent there's coordination, that's terrific.
Yeah, so Stephen comes to our monthly coalition meetings. We're learning a lot from the veterans at the federal level, because they know how to do this. So Keith brings in people and we can learn from them, and she suggests ways to form the mental health coalition. Cantor Weiss is huge because he has connections to all the houses of worships in Hingham and Hull. It doesn't stop at our Hingham borders. And now he invited Aileen and I to his next meeting to
Great.
educate them on what we're doing and give us feedback, because they see the problem firsthand a lot, or people will go to them before they will ever come to the town social worker.
Right.
And now that we can work together, and he knows what resources and what events we're having, so we are working really well with him and
good.
his
Great.
group. Yeah, he just invited us to
Yeah.
one of his events, so it's good.
Yeah, it's a nice collaboration.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, thank you.
We're lucky.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
Excellent. Bill, any questions or comments?
Can you hear us, Bill?
I don't think he heard you, Liz.
Bill, do you want, sorry, do you have any
I have no
comments?
questions. A quick comment to just say thank you for leading this effort. You've done some great work, started off this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent,
Thank you.
excellent. Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
So Liz, I don't have in my folder the goals thing. That's going to be part of our,
I don't know. The, well, so next on the agenda is, select board goals and objectives.
I'm gonna go print that
was there,
out. It was all, digital. It was all sent to you that way.
Oh, I didn't bring
in
it.
the packet.
I could have-
So we do have a slide.
I can look at the slide.
So what was in the packet, the electronic packet, was a very long list of goals that fall into kind of these 4 main categories. There was a 5th category around building the team out that I left out because I feel like that's more operational at this point. So I wanted to focus on kind of the higher level policy process just for this initial discussion. And really tonight, my goal for this agenda item is just to start the discussion, talk about these main buckets, and then develop, measurable goal, very specific and measurable goals, that we want to achieve within this fiscal year. So Tom and Art and Michelle and I have been working on kind of a laundry list of goals that are really 0 to 5 years out. And we'll be developing a Gantt chart so we can track that. But for our purposes, especially tonight, I kind of want to bring it up 20,000 feet and focus on what we're trying to accomplish this year. So these were the 4 main categories that I saw. One is to drive process improvement, including communication, which would also include things like, implementing the procurement software, evaluating and implementing the budgeting software, updating some of the select board policies that haven't been looked at in a while, and communication. So thinking about the communications consultant as well as drafting a social media policy. I'd like to create a monthly newsletter from the select board office. And then the second big category being identifying revenue and cost-saving opportunities. Obviously, we know this year we want to focus on economic development, so developing a plan. There are a number of recommendations in the Sustainable Budget Task Force report that would be relevant, so things like the real estate transfer fee, looking at meals tax revenue, reviewing pilot agreements, analyzing fees for services, creating the naming bylaw policy, so things like that I think we can achieve this year, I'd like included. And then, of course, cost-saving opportunities, looking for operational efficiencies. The third being implementing the master plan, which obviously is a very broad category. But in terms of kind of our specifics, I'm thinking of things like naming a select board liaison to the master plan implementation committee, and then scheduling presentations for the other big planning committees, so climate action, harbor development, housing plan, senior center building committee, just so we know what they're doing and we can kind of help execute those plans as well. And then 4, managing large capital projects and infrastructure investments. So obviously, those are things like Foster Elementary School construction, public safety facility construction, the senior center feasibility study, harbor planning initiatives, harbor wharf wall resiliency, things like that. I would consider in that category. So I know this is a lot to digest, but it was helpful for me to kind of think about it in those big buckets relative to what we're trying to accomplish this year. And then I think, the next step obviously is again, creating those very specific and measurable goals that we're confident we can accomplish this year and managing to that. So initial thoughts, comments?
So I'll start. I think this is great. I'd like to see dates associated with specific events so that we can look at this in 3 months or 6 months and say, these are the dates that we identified that certain goals would be accomplished, and they were accomplished. So I think, getting a schedule associated with these goals is important. to me, one of the important goals, and I don't know in which bucket to place it, would be to make sure that we have not only a fully functioning, what I call second floor, which is the permitting floor, but also good communications between the second floor and the third floor. And I'm not sure in what bucket you place that, but to me, it's critical for many things here. We're not going to have a lot of revenue opportunities in terms of growth and new projects unless we can get the permitting process going. Implementing the master plan requires a second floor. Managing large capital projects, the building department's involved, the zoning folks are. So I see behind these buckets specific things that we need to get on top of, like in the next 2 months, so that we're equipped to move forward and accomplish the goals.
Agreed. So, one bucket that I didn't put up here that Tom had was to build the team. And so I think, to your point, Joe, it's getting the second floor fully staffed, and up to speed, and then, then related to process, I think it's figuring out how to work effectively together and what that communication structure looks like.
Yep.
But that's a good point, and we can definitely have a specific goal related to that. Do you want to add anything to that, Tom?
Go to Bill first.
Sure. Do you want to
yeah.
talk about staffing, or?
I think we have, we're some 30 vacancies short right now. So
Yeah.
we need to prioritize them, we need to fill them, there's a lot of process that goes into that kind of an effort. We got to get through the personnel board, any job description changes. There's a large effort that goes into that, and we're actively involved in it, working on it. We have been, in some ways prior to town meeting, but certainly since, now that we know what funding sources are available
Right.
for the different positions. So we're actively on it. The more we all understand the communication structure, the more successful we'll all be. So I completely agree with you, Joe.
Excellent. Is there a way to share the screen between the slide and the people? There we go. So we can see Bill. Bill, any comments?
Yeah, so a couple things. I have some specific goals that I was gonna introduce, but I know these are kind of like a big picture items here, and I think it's great, Liz, thank you for doing this. These are some great areas. I am gonna throw a couple things out there, and I'll let Art and Michelle figure out where they fit in the 4 buckets up here. And I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but start off by echoing Joe's comment on an analysis of how we're doing things on the second floor. We used to have a primary point of contact on that floor, who was very knowledgeable about the permitting process, kind of have everything run through that person. I'd like to maybe look at whether or not we want to go back to that model. I think it could be an effective model for bringing all the different permitting departments together. And I think we take our look at going back to that model. So I agree with Joe on that. Big picture items, but with big corporate capital, obviously, the biggest focus we're gonna have in terms of capital projects in the next, couple of years is gonna be the senior center. Citing the senior center, securing funding for it, and then building it. I think that would be, that's a big one for me. The water company governance structure, I think we really should take a hard look at that this year. It doesn't make sense economically. Do we want to combine sewer and water? Do we want to put it under one superintendent? I'd like to look at whether or not financially that will work as a benefit to the town. And then maybe next year, introduce a town meeting article and maybe effectuate that change if we believe it makes sense organizationally, structurally, and financially for that. Obviously, affordable housing goals, the focus for us. Climate change, 100%. We have a wonderful climate action committee. We have wonderful community group in Hingham-ma.gov. What I think we need to fences. We are a coastal community, sea levels are rising, we see it. We are in jeopardy of commercial, residential sewer infrastructure coming underwater in the next couple of years. We need a detailed, significant plan for how we're gonna prevent North Hingham from being submerged underwater and how it could be disastrous for all of our infrastructure. That's a big focus of our community going forward. I think the Climate Action Committee is doing a wonderful job of being proactive, and I support 100% what they're doing. We should look at how are we going to be defensive in terms of our seawall structures and other things to prevent, to counteract or counterbalance sea level rise. Expansion of tax relief programs, we've done a wonderful job in that area. Want to continue to be aggressive with tax relief programs for residents who need it. Making sure we're funding those programs everywhere. An economic development plan for the entire town, but I think we need to expand one to include more things. Read that from a couple people. And then lastly, and this is something that is I hear a lot from residents, and it's a concern for me, is I'd like to see us take quick action on traffic calming measures in the downtown corridor. And I'm not sure what the holdup is, but the excuse of pending litigation will no longer be an impediment for me to keep people safe. And I'm sure Joe sees it downtown too. I see distracted drivers, I see people driving in that corridor 40 miles an hour. I don't understand why we have not implemented traffic calming measures we've been talking about for about 2 years. Sorry for me. And lastly, I would agree with Joe that ultimately the more specific goals that come into play should have an associated timeline with those goals, and then metrics to evaluate those goals as we move through time to get there. Those are just some initial thoughts, but I think this is a great start, and thank you, Liz and Tom, for putting it together.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Those are great comments, and thank you, Joe. I think, I do want to look at the Climate Action Plan, the Harbor Development Plan, the Visioning Plan, and even, I know there is a plan that's put together for the wharf walls and resiliency projects. So just understand what that timeline is and see if we feel like it needs to be expedited, one, and two, that we're facilitating that. So, to your point, whatever that means for getting ready for next town meeting, that we're in the know on what those things are and that we can help facilitate those things getting done. That's obviously a multi-year plan, so it will require us to think about what we need to do this year and back out from, town meeting and know kind of what to do each month, each week. So that's ultimately, I think that's what you're envisioning, Tom, as well, but that's certainly what I want to see. And I think that will help us get there, because as we all know, there's a lot to do all the time, and it can be completely overwhelming. So, my kind of aim in this whole exercise is to think about what we want to accomplish this year and really help us prioritize, knowing that there are a lot of really great projects and a lot of competing priorities. So I want to make sure that this board is very clear on what we see as the goals, because I think that makes it easier for not only staff, but our volunteers on boards and committees to know how to focus their energies most efficiently and productively. People are donating their valuable time, and we certainly don't want to kind of spin wheels in things that we're not ready to execute on. But I'm hopeful for this year, now that the large debt exclusions and override are behind us, that we have some more time and space and energy to really focus on, focus our energy in these areas. So implementing the master plan, obviously that's been kind of on the table for a while, and really looking at process improvement. And then certainly we committed to the taxpayers that we would aggressively look at ways to identify revenue, as well as cost savings. So that's certainly a main goal I know for us for over the next several years.
I mean, I think overlaid on top of this is that memorandum of understanding. And that, in many ways, is goal one.
Sure.
Is to make sure that we achieve what we have publicly committed to achieve. And that we know that we are not going to be going back to the taxpayers for more money, at least in the near term. So I would actually like to see that placed as a goal, just to make sure that we
Yes.
are following and adhering to that. And the other observation, and I'm not sure the best way to address it, is town government, and it's not just Hingham, often responds and acts when there's a crisis. And otherwise, it's more business as usual until the next crisis. And we need to make sure that we, as Bill was saying, identify these goals and keep our feet to the fire and really have dates so that we don't get lost in a bureaucracy and we actually achieve these things, because there are going to be other crises that arise that we don't anticipate. And if we only respond to the crises, we'll never reach these goals.
Right.
So we just need to keep that in mind.
I agree, and I know part of kind of the overarching goal of building the team is really redefining the assistant town administrator roles and responsibilities, and I see that as part of that. You know, kind of who's doing what tactically on the ground, and who's strategic even when there's a new fire, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I think that will help, that redefining of the responsibilities. That's certainly how I see that playing out.
Yep, I agree.
Great.
I had a couple of thoughts. Want me
Sure.
to jump in? Bill, I don't want to cut you off if you
Yeah,
had something.
anything else, Bill?
Sounds good, thanks, go ahead, Tom.
Just a couple of notes. The good news on all of this is this is a great conversation, and it's so helpful for me and Art and Michelle to hear the three of you as you work through this thought process. And I think I said it in the annual report in my write-up a couple of times in a row. It felt like we were in a year of planning, like for a couple of years straight. The good news is we're through that process in many ways, right? We have the climate action plan, we have the ADA plan, we have the master plan, the harbor plan, the 3A task force plan, the 3A corridor is going to be rebuilt here in a couple of years. We have the wharf wall planning effort that's nearing completion. We just added a little bit more funding to it at town meeting. That will be complete soon. And now it's incumbent on us to now implement in a logical, appropriate way to find funding for all of those things, that hopefully is done creatively. So, there's possible private funds, possible grants for a lot of these things, the ADA implementation, a lot of the master plan can be implemented utilizing grant money. So it's exciting for the three of us, we talk about this all the time, to be able to now run the town and not run the preparation for the large project or the next big thing. Now we get to stop and focus on everything that's been done and implement what we've been planning for half a decade. So we're all, the three of us are, horses in the stall, trying to get out and get going. It's really exciting. I'm very much, anticipating a great result.
Excellent.
I will remind everyone we are down, I think I said 30 positions that we have to fill. So as excited as we are, I just want to remind everyone that it's difficult to get to that speed right out of the gate. We do have to fill a lot of positions. We have a lot of vacancies, some pending vacancies of big positions with pending retirements that I've heard might be coming. So there's some of that, but it won't stop us in moving forward. It's a cautionary tale that as much as we want to move forward, we can only move forward to the extent staffing is available to do it. But we have the planning in place and the excitement to move forward.
Excellent. And I think, certainly that's a consideration recruiting, hiring, and onboarding 30 people is a huge effort in and of itself. So, I do want to be thoughtful and strategic about that, how those positions are filled.
Absolutely.
As we don't have control over all of that, but as much as we can control that so that we can work as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, we won't rush it just to have bodies there. We
Yeah.
need the right bodies, we need the
Right.
right people, as we always do, thoughtful, appropriate ways, so that we have the right staff to help us get where we need to go.
Yeah,
But I don't want the staffing shortfall to be a reason that we're not moving forward on the goals that we can. For example, on the naming bylaw and get, we don't need the staff to do that. We just
Right.
need to get that done, and we should have a date assigned, and we're gonna have
Agreed.
a policy in place and make sure that that happens.
agreed. And I certainly see that as high priority, you know, something I hope we'll work
Yeah.
on this summer. Other questions, comments? Bill, did you want to add anything else?
No, good discussion, good
Okay.
start. I mean, Liz, are we going to, I guess, continue discussion, get going forward, and not be more specific with what fits in the box, I guess, or?
Yes.
I think it's a discussion.
Yes, so I'm envisioning it being back on the agenda for June 12th,
13th, is it?
whatever that
whatever the
Tuesday is.
Tuesday
Sorry,
yeah.
maybe it's the 13th. That week, it is the 13th. So in between now and then, I'm envisioning us really flushing it out and creating, you know, very specific goals with a timeline, so we can revisit it then, if that works. And I'd like, you know, if we can vote on it that night, great. If not, I think just by the start of the fiscal year would be a good goal for us to have everything in place by July 1. All right. Any comments? And I don't know that anyone from the public is with us anymore, but any questions or comments? Okay. Okay, next on the agenda is a Town Administrator Annual Performance Review. So I wanted to, I'll just kind of kick this off, and just wanted to give a little bit of background, if anybody joins or listens to the recording later. But the purpose of this evaluation is to formally appraise the town administrator's performance on an annual basis. Evaluators consist of members of the select board, advisory committee chair, and 3 department heads. The town administrator also does a narrative self-evaluation. This in terms of procedure and timeline, the period of evaluation that we're talking about is March 20th, 2022 through March 20th, 2023. And the evaluation is comprised of the following areas: leadership and decision-making, select board and other boards, community relations, planning and organizing, communication, community relations, job knowledge, financial management, and evaluation of goals. So I just wanted to kind of set the stage for that, of what we're doing and why we're talking about it. This is just the regular annual process. And I'll turn it over to you, Joe, if you want to start with any feedback or comments.
Well, I just start by saying, one of the reasons we do this is it's in his contract. And that is our obligation to make sure that we are giving the town administrator feedback, because it's not fair of us to say, you forgot about something, if we didn't say, hey, that was actually on your list. So it's our obligation to do that. And it's the town administrator's obligation to take our review and figure out what makes sense and what to add. I mean, I think it's an important process. And it's interesting because the time frame ended in March of 2023, so we're not supposed to know that we actually had a town meeting that was successful. That's not part of this now. That's going to be part of next year. And we know all the work that led up to that, but we really don't know that at this stage. So, I mean, I think, yeah, I made comments before about going from crisis to crisis, and we have dealt with those crises. And I think the town administrator has been superb at addressing them, helping the town address them. And I think, as Liz said, we're now and as Tom said, we're now at the stage where we're moving beyond that to actually making sure that there's good management and planning on a regular basis. And I think that's going to be the challenge, not just for you, but for everyone. And to the extent that there are topics to be addressed, I think communication is always a topic. I've heard from business leaders that they want better access to make sure that when they contact you or other members of the town, that they get a response. And I think we need to work on that. My experience has been that we are responsive, but to the extent that that I get feedback or others get feedback that needs to be worked on, it needs to be worked on. So I think that's, to me, the most important aspect of this is transparency in government and making sure that those who elected us or are paying our bills are being given the service that they are entitled to. So I will end my initial comments there. Though I did want to ask Liz, maybe you or Tom, I know that Tom did his own self-evaluation, which I've not seen. So to the extent that you wanted to share any of that now, that'd be great, or else we can do that privately. I mean, the three of us, I believe, have had our own separate conversations with the town administrator, which is important that we have that one-on-one discussion, relationship. I've done it, and I found it to be very helpful, and I hope Tom found it helpful as well.
No, I did. I can speak to it real quick. There's a couple of things that annually are difficult and hard for us here. One is communications that can always improve. I've never been in an organization where communications couldn't improve. That is certainly true here. Frankly, when we brought on the second ATA position a couple of years ago, that improved significantly. But that there's always room for improvement. So that's always a solid goal of mine. Another goal that's it's a pesky one for me, it's important to me, is our ability to improve our diversity in the workforce. And it's also difficult. The recruitment tools, the recruitment, our ability to recruit from a diverse workforce is very important. I struggle with it, frankly. I don't know how to do it better. I very much want to. If anyone has feedback and ideas from the public, from the three of you, I'll obviously continue to to work with Lisa Campbell in our HR office. But to the extent anyone has ideas on that, please reach out to me. It's been one of my personal goals that I put in my own review of myself the last couple of years, and not much, unfortunately, has changed, and that's not okay. So we got to find a way to improve there.
Yes, I know that that's one of your goals, Tom, and I feel like that's reflected in the master plan as well. So I have been thinking about that, and obviously we can talk offline about it, but, there may be other recruiting efforts or recruiting tools that we can use, like LinkedIn. I don't think municipal government utilizes that very much, but that's where a lot of people are looking for jobs and networking. So, I think there are probably some low-cost ways that we could try out, at least. Bill, do you want to add your feedback?
Yeah, so a couple things. Obviously, a tremendously successful year. I mean, the issues that you dealt with, Tom, with the public safety building, Foster, and override all kind of coming at you at the same time. And the mission accomplishment, you got everything passed. Great results at town meeting, great results at the ballot. So, very, very successful year in terms of what our big goals were going into it. I was going to ask you the same thing Joe asked you about. When I do this in the military with people who are my subordinates, I was saying, where do you think you can improve your own abilities? You kind of answered that question for me. But I think, this year and then the year after this is going to be a reset year. as I kind of said earlier, we talked the goals, objectives, discussion. I think when the board comes up with the goals and objective list, what I'd like to kind of see from you is just a timeline for implementation. And, you know, obviously, it's going to be kind of a reset year in a lot of different areas to see, well, where are we, how can we improve our abilities, but confident you'll get there, and very much appreciate your hard work and your dedication to the community over the past 12 months.
Excellent, thank you. Well, I certainly agree with my colleagues and appreciate all of the work, Tom, over the last year. I was thinking about all that's been accomplished, and I did skip ahead to kind of current day, past March 20th. But, you know, obviously the 2 large debt exclusions, the large capital projects, the operating override, and maintaining town hall operations during that very difficult budget season. One thing that we haven't mentioned yet is you know, really collaborating with the new superintendent and business manager. That was a tremendous opportunity, and you were very proactive about it.
Yeah.
And that really set us up for success. And then, of course, as we heard from Sue Sarney earlier, establishing the mental health task force was something we weren't planning on doing, but we saw a need in the community, and we reacted very quickly, and I'm very proud of that. And then, you know, leading award-winning departments, I was thinking about all of the awards of the past several months between Shrek, Police, Fire, Rec, the Weir River Water System. It's impressive operations, and you certainly have a lot to be proud of, and all of us do. I agree. I think communication is always challenging, and I think there are steps that we can take to improve that this year. You know, I see communication certainly internally with the staff as well as externally, and not just when it's an emergency or bad news. We have a lot of good things happening and good news to share that I think sometimes we're shy about. So I'd like to see that, more of an effort there as well, just so that people know what's going on here at Town Hall and how much is being accomplished on a daily basis. So, good job, well done, thank you. And certainly, you know, I want to make sure that we are clear about the goals and help remove any obstacles as we move forward.
So one thing that we didn't mention, which actually was covered in the period, the pandemic was still going on.
Yeah.
And I think your ability to get the town through that, to steer us in a direction that did not disrupt services and that preserved the health and welfare of our residents was key.
Yes.
And that's a huge success. And hopefully that will not be part of your review next year, that we won't have to deal with it. But it properly is before us now, and it really needs to be acknowledged. It was absolutely huge.
Absolutely. Excellent. Any other comments? Bill, did you want to add anything else?
No, other than I'm gonna, as Joe mentioned, I need to have a follow-up conversation with Tom as well. But,
Okay.
Again, great year, a lot to be proud of, great successes all around. Thank you for your dedication.
Excellent. Any questions or comments from the public? Okay. Did you want to add anything, Tom?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next item on the agenda are appointments, which I don't believe we have any.
Nope.
Okay. Next is public comment. I have the language here, but I don't see anyone. Anyone in the public have a comment hasn't been covered by the agenda? Okay, seeing none. All right, town administrator and select board reports. Art, do you want to start?
I've got nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay, Michelle?
Nothing from me, thank you.
All right, hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Tom?
So I have the sad duty tonight to report to the town the passing of a former town employee, Donald Warren Lincoln. Don was a lifelong resident of Hingham. He was a member of the Call Fire Department from 1960 to 1995 and worked as a Hingham 911 dispatcher for 10 years as well. Don was one of the founding members of the Bear Cove Fire Museum and was a veteran of the U.S. Navy from 1956 to 1960, serving aboard the USS Charles Roane and the USS Hale as a fire control technician. So his family is in our thoughts, and we remember his service.
Yes, thank you for acknowledging that. Joe?
Just reminding folks, Monday, May 29th, Memorial Day. I don't know, Tom or Liz, are you going to discuss what events are planned at the town?
I can.
Yeah, please.
So Monday, there will be a Memorial Day event here at Town Hall. I believe it starts at,
11?
if I say it slow enough, someone will
I
fill it in.
I thought
11?
I thought it was 10, but I think it's 11. Okay.
Okay, I believe at 11 a.m. 11, thank you, Bill. And that will be moderated, or not moderated, I guess, emceed by the moderator, Mike Puzo, as it always is. It's a wonderful event. The Hingham Band is always there. A lot of good music, but also, and more importantly, an opportunity to remember and think about the sacrifice of our citizens that serve in the armed forces. So it's a great event. I look forward to it every year, and we'll be there again.
And residents show up, and you don't have to be formally dressed, but your presence, our presence, is welcomed, and quite frankly, it's very respectful. So looking forward to seeing folks there. That's it.
Excellent. Bill?
Want to congratulate Katie Roberts on being named the permanent assistant superintendent today. Known Katie for many years. She's a wonderful educator and a wonderful person, and I'm happy to see that appointment today. I want to extend her and her family congratulations.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. I was thrilled to see that. Just a couple things for me. Last week I met with the library trustees for the first time, which was excellent and very interesting. There are 2 openings. I know that's always a popular one. So we are still accepting Talent Bank applications. We're looking to schedule Talent Bank interviews the week of June 5th and June 12th. We had the public safety facility kickoff meeting last week, so thrilled to see that get going with the contractor. I had the opportunity to talk to Senator O'Connor last week about some of the budget amendments. So 3 that are pretty relevant to Hingham are increases in CPA funding, increases in METCO funding, and money associated with MSBA projects that have seen increases because of inflation due to COVID. They are looking to provide more funding for those MSBA projects, which Foster would qualify for. So more to come on that. Also, some great news from the Hingham Affordable Housing Trust announced the lottery process for 2 condo units open today. So 29 and 31 Road Circle. There's information on the town website, but the deadline to apply is July 28th. So it's 2 3-bedroom units being offered at $220,000. So kudos to the hard work of the staff, Jen Oram, and the Jack Falvey and the Affordable Housing Trust. That is a really nice accomplishment. So excited to get new residents into those great units. And that's it for me. Anything else? Comments, questions? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, Joe.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. We are adjourned at 7:20. Thank you, everyone.